Hello everyone, welcome to Straight Bat with Gulf News and Mr. Cricket UAE, that is Anis Sajan. A thrilling win for Mumbai in IPL today. We will discuss that and more of that. And joining me and Anis today are Naresh Mansukwani of a Mumbai Indians fan and Gulf News Senior Associate Editor, that is Gautam Bhattacharya. Anis, tell us something about today's match. That was a last ball win, really, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you, Sham. Hello, Mr. Gautam. And hello, Naresh. A thrilling match, like you mentioned. There were matches where Gujarat Titans won, where they should have lost. The two finishers, Tewatia and Miller, were able to finish games. Today, we can see they ran out of luck. Maybe they will not be so unhappy losing today than losing in the playoffs. So this defeat might be a learning experience that they said batsmen have to finish games off.
Naresh, you must be really, really happy today after coming off Mumbai's miserable run. This is the second win for Mumbai and came under very fortuitous circumstances. I felt that Gujarat lost the match rather than Mumbai win. Do you agree with me there?
I agree for the simple fact that the way Mumbai played the first half when we were batting, 97 for 1, and the second half was 80 for 6. So somewhere we lost the way in the second half of our batting. And the kind of bowling attack we have and what we have seen in this season, we needed at least 200 to make a match and defend this. But the way we have bowled again in the second half, you see the trend has been the same. Both the teams losing the openers and then there is a struggle. A 100-run partnership between Saha and Gill was broken. Both went in the same over, and then the struggle started for Gujarat. But we need to give credit where it deserves. Daniel Sams, who has had a miserable season, you can say, he was hit for 35 by Pat Cummins. And Pat Cummins is not in the playing 11 now. So in a way, it's a good way to come back. He did very well in this last over. So yeah, a very, very good win. It's kind of very refreshing to see two back-to-back wins. And the way Mumbai has been having that reputation of how they make comebacks.
Okay, let's rewind to the beginning of today's match. Gautam, perhaps one of the best starts for Mumbai, isn't it? 74 of 45 balls between Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan. Perhaps that set the tone for the match.
Yes, it was their best power play start. That's what I I learned. But and of course, I mean, Rohit was, it was a belter of a wicket, and Rohit looked perfectly in the zone. I mean, he could have carried on and on. But, once reaching in his 40, just at about 40, he looks a bit, I don't know, I mean, if his fitness comes into question or anything, I mean, at that point, a reverse sweep of Rashid Khan, when you know that Rashid's dangerous deliveries are the ones that threatens or his, the wrong ones, that opened up the gateway. Otherwise, he could have really had a big one today.
Yeah, and he's a very different innings from Rohit today, isn't it? Very positive, good intent there, and he was timing the ball, and even his placement was very good. And in fact, it's looking good today, isn't it?
You're right, Sham, but Gautam hit the nail, the fitness. Like we could see he's huffing and puffing, and he looked tired. And that reverse sweep, it's now easy for us to say shouldn't have come. But the fact remains that Rohit Sharma likes space on the ball, and he was finding, he can't read, let's very honest, he can't read Rashid Khan. Very few players can read Rashid Khan. And he wanted to play some different shot and get away with him. But in the end, he paid the price, and that opened the gates for Gujarat. And let's be very honest, that spell of Rashid Khan, the last 2 overs, brought them back so much into the game that the 220 score became 180. But I'm afraid Gujarat did the same mistake while batting.
Yeah, true. That's very true about Rashid Khan. I mean, 4 overs, 24 runs. He played a major role in slicing open the Mumbai batting. Naresh, Pollard has been a miserable failure. Not just miserable, very abject failure, I would say. He hasn't fired in a single match this year. Do you think it's the end of the road for Pollard?
I would like to see him at least get a break for a couple of games and get Brevis in. You can say he bowled as a sixth bowler, bowled a couple of overs and got a wicket, but that's not his role. His role is finishing the innings at a strike rate of at least 150, 170, which he has not been able to do at all this season. Not a single game, you can say. So he got out to Rashid Khan. He couldn't read the ball, and he faced 12 balls for 4 runs. You know how important on this wicket, as Gautam said, it was a belter of a wicket. You know, those 15, 20 runs, what we needed, because it's really good this bowling attack could defend it. But that phase of Pollard's inning could have been a decider if we had lost.
Gautam, like Ani said, Rashid Khan is a difficult cookie. I mean, it's not easy to get him away. See, they took 13 of his first over, but finally he hit back and he finished with 4 overs, 24 runs, 2 wickets. Yeah, we have discussed this in the past also. What is it makes Rashid Khan difficult? Because he is primarily a googly bowler who occasionally bowls a leg break, but he's faster through the air. So what is it that makes him difficult for batsmen? Even after so many seasons with IPL, they still find difficult to decipher him.
I think this year he has added a few things in his bag of tricks, Sham. I mean, I know that if we say that if we treat him as a googly bowler, one can play him, and if one keeps playing him in the V. But then this delivery which got Pollard, I mean, it was like middle and off, and then it was actually a leg break which took off his off stump and went out. So how do you deal with a guy like this? So this is the kind of damage which he used to do for Sunrisers, and he's with his performance so far. If GT can keep up this tempo, he is a surefire contender for the MVP.
Anis, we've been talking about Tim David. I know you were very critical of Mumbai when he dropped Tim David after purchasing him for a ransom, and now he's coming into his own. So do you think Tim David can replace Pollard?
Well, you know what? I wouldn't like to judge a player on the basis of one inning, and comparing him with Pollard in the same league is a little difficult. But yes, he came on the back of a very good series in Pakistan in the PSL, and that's the reason they went hard for him. But after 2 matches, to drop him was not fair, because in IPL, big players have found it difficult to get going. And now we can see in the last 2 games, he's been hitting the ball hard. And today's his innings, in the end, gave that extra impetus where Mumbai would have finished probably 160, 165. They came to 180. So he's a good future player. But now, how much of cricket is he going to play? Because he's Singapore born. I don't know where he's going to play. Does he play for Australia? I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, I believe he is playing most of his cricket in Australia, especially in the Big Bash League. He's been such a hit there. But I think we'll see more of him in the next year as well. Yeah. Now, the Gujarat chase, it got off to a brilliant start, isn't it? 100 for no loss in 12 overs. What were your thoughts exactly at that point in the race?
Well, it looked one-sided when they were 100 without loss, that they would go easy and get this chase done. But yeah, that over of Murugan Ashwin, it was more to do with both the batters. You can say similar that they had 50 plus. They probably looked a bit tired. They were wanting to still go quicker so that they had continue to have a healthy net run rate, and both gave wickets, the catches in the deep. But yeah, what happened next was that the others were struggling, and that is where we could come back in the game. But yeah, when these two were going on, it looked as if this was a very easy chase.
Even in the last over, it was something like 11 runs required of 6 balls, and it came down to
9 of 6 actually. Yeah.
9 of 6, huh? And it came down to 7 of 3, isn't it?
7
because even at that point, it was still not game over actually. Until Daniel Sams bowled us 2 dot balls. At any point during the last over did you think that Mumbai would win? Because it's for you.
No, because we have seen what Miller and Tewatia have done in this season itself, and what Daniel Sams' struggle has been this season. So that's where I feel that he really did very well. First to bowl the last over, we had a choice, I think, in Meredith. but
True.
Rohit went for Daniel Sams for the last over. So that's, we can be critical on Rohit Sharma, but this was a very, very risky and a very productive move that he gave Daniel Sams the last over. So yeah, but with Miller and Tiwatia, even the last ball, I felt they needed seven, I think 6 or 7 on the
Six,
last.
six, six,
Six
six.
on the last ball, it was possible because Miller was there. But I think Daniel Sams kept one thing in mind. He was to bowl slower once, wide outside the off stump, but good enough that it is not called a wide. And I think he was very perfect to that.
Gautam, did you think that Tewatia run out was a critical factor here?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if Pandya's run out took it down to the wire, as long as Tewatia and Miller were together, I thought that they're again going to pull it off, because you see, given the kind of pressures that they had handled in the past, this was very much par for the course. But that put the pressure on Miller, and then finally he couldn't connect. I mean, as you know, that if you can't put that to ball, then the best of batsmen can miss out on a 4 or a 6. I mean, this could have been a 6 on another day.
Anyway, no harm done for Gujarat Titans simply because they still are on 8 points from 11 games, and they are pretty much still in the their knockout chances remain unharmed. But Mumbai still remain at the bottom of the league with 4 points. Yes, Anis, you earlier in the show you said that Gujarat had one game from losing position, and that's basically saying that they have won lost matches, and here's a match which they nearly won, they lost. Do you think this will affect their morale in such a way? Because what happens is when you hit a slippery slope, it's difficult to come back. So now we are at the almost getting to the business end of the league. How will it impact Gujarat?
Well, it will hurt them definitely, but they will take this as a lesson because they have 3 games before the playoff. They need to win 1 game to get into the top 4, and I believe they should get into the top 4. That will be their main goal. Yes, this defeat will definitely haunt them, but fortunately, it is not come out in a knockout game or probably in a game which would hit their progress. So I think they would take it in their stride positively because they will remember that they are 1 game from losing position. So this is something which will make them realize when you can win games, you can also lose games.
All right, now we are heading for our predictions for a doubleheader tomorrow. Before that, Anis, let's know about the contest.
Oh yes, every day you need to predict the winner. I had predicted Gujarat today very honestly from the beginning, and in the end, I was flabbergasted and surprised that Mumbai pulled it off. But you win, predict, and you win a beautiful apparel kit that is a t-shirt, track, and a cap, and a year's Intel Gulf News subscription. That's the beauty.
And we have been getting all our predictions wrong, but that has not stopped us from predicting. Let's predict the doubleheader tomorrow. Naresh, you go first for the first match. That is the Punjab Kings versus Rajasthan Royals. Who is your pick?
I'm favoring Rajasthan for this game because it's an afternoon game, and I feel they have a good experienced spin attack that can be effective in the afternoon game at Wankhede. And Josh Butler would like playing in the day at Wankhede, so I'm going with Rajasthan for this game.
Gautam, Naresh says it's going with Rajasthan, but Rajasthan has come off a defeat, which is not exactly flattering for them, whereas Punjab is coming off a win. So, what is your pick here?
No, I think I'll have to go with Rajasthan. I mean, certainly the edge will be with Rajasthan. If anything Punjab does, it will be a surprise factor. The day game is certainly going to be a big help with Butler's fondness for Wankhede. So that is one. And for the second game, yes, I think I'll have to go with Lucknow.
Yeah, I'll come to that later. Before that, and what's so we have two guys backing Rajasthan. What's your pick?
I'll back Rajasthan. They have a good attack, but only thing is that they are also coming back on the back of 2 defeats. So we need to see how they can lift themselves. But I'm backing Butler to go back again tomorrow.
Yeah, because I will also agree with you guys. So all 4 votes go to Rajasthan. Why I back is simply because Rajasthan is a well-rounded team as far as I'm concerned, but it's just that their batting is too dependent on Josh Butler. But otherwise, they have a good attack, and in fact, they are one of the few teams which have batted first and or defended their scores and won several of their games. So they have a decent attack there with Chahal, Ashwin, and Bolt and the rest. Now for the second game, Lucknow Super Giants meet the Kolkata Knight Riders. Since Kolkata is there, Gautam, I'll let you go first.
So Kolkata honestly had been very up and down. Last match with those number of shuffles and all, they went over the line, but it's difficult to see them for 2 or 3 matches on the trot and make a real impact. Basically, to do what they did last year in UAE, I don't see them doing that. So I would rather put my money on LSG because they've got a number of new aces up their sleeves, like this new left arm Simmer, Mohsin, I think, and another
Mohsin
boy.
Yeah,
Mohsin
Mohsin
Khan,
Khan.
yeah.
So Mohsin has really added another X factor. So I would like to go with Lucknow Super Giants.
Naresh, what about you? Because KKR is coming off a win, but they have been up and, like Gautam said, up and down, and I think they are the most unsettled side in the sense like they have used the maximum number of players in this IPL, so they're kind of
Yeah,
still searching for a winning combination there.
yeah, I'll also go with Lucknow, but yeah, as you say, KKR, it's been a very shocking kind of a downfall compared to how they started off. It looked a good, stable bowling attack, and then suddenly Pat Cummins came because he was engaged in games in Pakistan. But then after a couple of games, he's out. They have okay, Saudi has done well, but again, the batting lineup, there's a lot of shuffle. The two retained players are not there anymore, Varun and Venkatesh Iyer. So there's something that has gone wrong, you can say, which they are now struggling to get a grip on. So Lucknow starts favorite because of KKR's inconsistency with the playing 11.
Anis, do you see Calcutta upstaging Lucknow tomorrow?
I'll back Lucknow.
I think all four of us will go with Lucknow and Rajasthan Royals. Let's see whether we'll get it right. Let's hope there is no surprises tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. Have a good night. For all the latest updates, please log on to gulfnews.com and all our social media channels. Till tomorrow. Good night.